What is a paradox? A paradox arises when, starting with what seems like perfectly reasonable assumptions and a reasonable way of proceeding logically, you end up with an absurd conclusion. For example, the Barber Paradox. All the men in a village either shave themselves or they get the barber to shave them. So who shaves the barber? If he shaves himself, he doesn't shave himself. If he doesn't shave himself, then he shaves himself. And that's a paradox. What is a reductio ad absurdum? A reductio ad absurdum is a way of arguing where you begin with something that you want to refute. So assuming that's true, you derive an absurd conclusion. So therefore it cannot be true. For example, if someone says we can travel back in time and change the past, you can say, well, supposing you do that, and the change results in a situation where you were never born, and so you couldn't have gone back in the past. So that's absurd, and so the assumption must be false. Of course, there are many paradoxes, and there are different types of paradoxes. I refer you to the work of Quine and Ramsey, the different types of paradoxes. I can usually find something wrong with individual paradoxes. For example, the Barber Paradox, he simply has a shave. He just has a shave, and that's the end of that. What's paradoxical about a man having a shave? The paradox of the heap relies on the assumption that removing one element from the heap always makes the same difference, and it never does. The difference is different every time. So you can usually find something different, something wrong rather, with individual paradoxes. But what I want to do is try and find a general idea, a general way of refuting all paradoxes, which I think I have done and will present in this video. What is the difference between a paradox and the reductio ad absurdum? I'm going to say in this video that there is no difference. In fact, a paradox can be converted into or reduced to a reductio ad absurdum, and therefore the paradox must be rejected. For example, in Russell's paradox, which says that in the set of all sets that are not members of themselves, is it a member of itself? Well, if it is a member of itself, then it isn't. And if it isn't a member of itself, then it is. So there's a paradox. I want to say that can be reduced to or converted into a reductio ad absurdum. A reductio ad absurdum of the claim that it makes sense to say that a set can or cannot be a member of itself. That can be reduced to absurdity because it has absurd conclusions. In this way, all paradoxes can be refuted. They can be shown to be self-refuting. So, there you have it then. It's quite simple, perfectly simple. If you think you have a paradox, a paradoxical situation, there must be something wrong. Must be something wrong in your reasoning, some move that you made that is not legitimate in some way. And so the paradox, or the alleged paradox, is really a reductio ad absurdum of the illegitimate move. And this is a general claim. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't even matter what the thing is. There must be something somewhere. So if you think of the the paradox as a reductio, all paradoxes are self-refuting. Thanks for watching.